Stuart, thank you so much for taking time out of a very busy schedule to speak to us, because you've written a book, haven't you?
I have written a book.
And how's that all going?
It's going fine, yes. It's nice to talk about a book. Sometimes with music you don't have much to say apart from actually playing the songs, but it's obviously the book is about my life, so.
Yeah, because it is about your life, isn't it? I mean, they call it a fiction novel, but
Yeah.
there's certainly parallels to your life, isn't there?
Yes, and I think that's allowed. I mean, we had some debate whether it was going to be autobiography, autofiction, or just fiction. But I was quite happy in the end with the fiction, because I did make it gives you this license to make stuff up and to put events together and write a lot of conversations that didn't happen. But the actual thread of the book from the early 90s is very autobiographical. It was a period when I wasn't well. I have had a thing called ME. I still have it to some degree. ME, otherwise known as chronic fatigue syndrome. And at that point, I'd maybe had it for about 2 years and had been on this downward slope. So the book begins when I'm kind of at the bottom. And the story is of me coming together with my friend Kira and my friend Michael, who also had ME. And it's the story of the three of us trying to make progress, trying to get through everything from previous life out the window. It's like learning how to live again, really.
Because this time of your life was really quite pivotal to you, because it's when you really began songwriting, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was in that quiet time when everything else fell away, I suddenly realised that I could write songs. I just went to the piano and started writing. It took me a long time, though, to get any good at it. That was 1991. The band never got together until the end of 95. So there was still those, what I would call 4 or 5 wilderness years.
So from, writing some songs when you weren't feeling at your best physically, how did it go from that to forming Belle and Sebastian?
Things went quite slowly for years. I always dreamed of getting a band together. And the funny thing is, when it actually happened, I wasn't quite prepared for it. I always had to go to rehearsal and then kind of sneak away, disappear and rest, rest somewhere. I never told my band, because I just met these people. I didn't want to scare them off, so I didn't tell them about the ME. So for years they just thought, I think maybe they thought I was really rude.
Because you do have a really loyal global audience, and as you say, you tour around the world. You've played Radio City Music Hall, the Hollywood Bowl. These must be iconic venues to play. Tell me about some of the experiences of playing big venues like this.
It's just terrific. I mean, you couldn't make it up. It's the thrill of a lifetime. There's obviously a universality about the songs. I mean, there must be, because, for instance, I remember going to South America for the first time and playing in Brazil, and there'd been this huge, crazy audience, and I'm thinking, our songs are in English or Scottish, if you like. How are they getting it? But people get music.
The band really is synonymous with Glasgow, though, isn't it? It's become a bit of Glasgow furniture, I would say, over the last 25 years.
I'm really happy about that. I mean, back in the 80s, just before we formed, the thing is, people had to go to London because the industry was in London. And then there was a kind of change about the end of the 80s, start of the 90s, with more independent bands. So we never thought about leaving Glasgow, and we've been lucky enough to do our business from here. And of course, it's an easy city to come back to.
So what's next for you?
We've been working the band quite hard for a few years, so we're taking some time off, and I'm going to do this book for a while, and I'm actually having a book tour. I'm taking my guitar, but I'm doing a book tour, so I'll be reading excerpts from the book and talking about the book, and that's just around the UK next month.
We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Emma. Cheers.
Thanks.